This is absolutely my kind of paradise.
In this episode, we sail Florence to some spectacular Norwegian island anchorages, take a moment to enjoy boat life, forage for our dinner and catch up on some maintenance. Can you believe that all this is within the Arctic Circle?
Well, what a beautiful anchorage.
We are Amy and Matt. We're sailing our 37-foot sailboat, Florence, along the coast of Arctic Norway. This dramatic coastline offers an unparalleled combination of both natural beauty and sailing challenge.
The pristine waters offer both rugged fjords and breathtaking tranquil islands. Sailing Florence south from Svalbard, we have 650 miles of this unique coastline to explore, and we are constantly left wondering why so few boats visit what has to be one of the best sailing destinations in the world.
Join us as we explore this underrated gem of a sailing destination.
After catching the falling tide out of the long fjord where we reached the Swedish border in the last episode, we're looking for a protected anchorage for the night. Looking at the chart and satellite images, we think we have found a suitable spot. Threading our way through the rocks, we're going to take a look.
Well, what a beautiful anchorage. And it's been a bit of a surprise here, really. We only came in here for shelter because we wanted to go on to another place 3 miles away that you can't go to in rough conditions. You need calm conditions for. And we had some waves and wind as we came in. And we were just expecting to stop here for a night's sleep and then go on. But it's so beautiful that we've just decided to stay here. It's something we haven't done very often on this trip, is to stay somewhere for multiple nights. Normally we're just seeing something and then moving on the next day because there's so much to see and we've had to cover a fair bit of ground to get up to Svalbard and back. But we just felt the need to stop and live on the boat in one place for a while, and we weren't expecting that place to be here. But then just looking at this, it's going to be really difficult to leave. So we're just going to enjoy a few days here, living on board, enjoying the surroundings, catching up on a few pieces of maintenance, and then hopefully we'll be rejuvenated and ready to sail on down the coast. This winch is the one that gets the most use on the boat, and recently it's not been sounding quite so clean as the other ones, so I'm going to take the opportunity to give it a service whilst we're stopped here, to make sure we don't have a problem further on. I think a couple of the pools have just been being a bit sticky, so we'll probably just need to give this all a clean and a re-grease in oil, and it'll be good to go again. If not, we do have a few spare pulls and springs in case I find a broken one. The water here is crystal clear, and there do seem to be some mussels around, so I'm just looking for some rocks to see if we can gather some mussels for dinner to go with the fresh bread that Amy's baked. I'm not sure how good they'll be because it's quite sandy, so they might be a bit gritty, but give it a go, I reckon. Oh, that looks good. Well, you kind of got to suck the muscle off from around a bit of grit. But the location is top class.
I didn't see where you picked these up from, but I'm guessing the beach.
No, they're on some rocks, but the rocks were quite low down near some sandy bits. And I thought they might be a bit like this. There weren't any mussels higher up.
Wash it down with some wine, it'll be fine.
More wine, it'll be fine. Can I try some of the bread? This looks good. The bread's really good. It makes up for the mussels completely.
3 days of boat life isolated amongst nature in this magically calm anchorage allowed us to catch up on boat jobs and rejuvenated our enthusiasm to sail Florence onward, exploring further down this spectacular coastline.
All the fjords and mountains of Norway make it difficult to travel by land, which gives added importance to the sea routes along the coast. The complex channels weaving between the coastal islands and rocks of Norway's western seaboard require a lot of navigational markers.
Historically, over 200 lighthouses have been built to guide shipping on this route. Just over 100 of those lighthouses are still operational as navigational beacons to show us the way today, although they've now all been automated.
This lighthouse at Tranås was made as a kit of cast iron parts. It was first erected at a different site in 1914, before being moved here to Tranås in 1936. Lighthouses may seem superfluous to us as we're sailing in the summer with nearly 24 hours of daylight. But in winter, the Arctic sees 24-hour darkness, when the importance of these lighthouses come into their own.
We're just going on a really lovely, gentle evening cruise down the coast of Hammerøre, which is an absolutely spectacular coastline. So on our port hand side, we've got this coast, which is full of lighthouses and mountains. And then further on the starboard side, we've got in the distance the Lofoten island chain, which at the moment is lit up by the sun. And the first time in probably about 2 months or more, we're having to think about whether or not we're going to arrive in our anchorage before the sun sets, because the sun is actually going to set. Theoretically, at the moment, at night, the sun sets or has set for 2 hours, but I don't know if it's getting low enough to actually get dark at the moment, and we tend to be asleep at that time, so yet to test that theory. But the light is just spectacular. I really love the light in the Arctic summer, not just the 24-hour daylight that we've been having for the last couple of months, but also this period, because you just get this gorgeous golden light, which would normally be, I guess, called a photographer's golden hour. And in the tropics, that just used to last 5 minutes and the sun was down. But here, it just lasts all evening, and it's so soft and beautiful, and the scenery is magnificent. It's just, yeah, the icing on the cake. It's a really lovely place to be in summer.
I'm headed down to what looks like a basin surrounded by mountains. It was recommended to us by some followers who met us further up when we came back to mainland Norway and told us of some of their favourite spots. It looks like it's quite a tight way in, quite a shallow bar to get in over, but we should be okay with the tide when we get there. And then hopefully we'll be fully protected when we're in there.
We made it into the anchorage, and as you can see, it is an absolutely gorgeous anchorage, but it's so peaceful. I feel the need to whisper. There are a couple of other boats in here, one sailing boat and one small motorboat, but there's tons of space, and these mountains are just spectacular. It's now 11:30, so the sun has technically set, but we both just said we're pretty sure it's getting lighter again, so maybe it's rising or it's slid sideways past a smaller mountain, which is blocking out the light a little bit less. But we both need to go to bed because there is a lot to see here, and we need to get up and see it.
Here we go, wild blueberries. And a bit further down the hill, Amy's just found wild raspberries as well.
These are the first wild raspberries that we've seen. You need about 10 for the size of a regular raspberry, but it makes me very happy I've come to the point of carrying a tub every single time we come ashore in the hope that we'll find something to forage. They're everywhere, but they're really tiny.
Very small. Oh, but they've got a really intense flavour. They're amazing.
The blueberries up here are really fat and juicy. And plus, there's no mosquitoes. Everywhere we've seen them so far has been kind of in boggy areas. This is absolutely my kind of paradise. I'm foraging for berries. Later I might go and try and fish for cod in amongst the rocks. I can go for a swim, a kayak, possibly even a dinghy sail. I could stay here for a very long time.
Not a bumper harvest, but that'll do. Who says Norwegian fruit is really expensive?
It's certainly time consuming. Although surprisingly today it feels too hot ashore. I feel like I want to go for a swim. I never thought I would be in the Arctic and welcoming that a little bit of wind chill. You've obviously got to be careful what you wish for, because I wanted a bit of wind chill and the wind is now blowing straight down the mountains, which means it's really gusty. We're getting anything from 3 knots to a minute ago we had 29 knots, and they're coming from different directions, so blowing us around. We've moved Florence so that we've got a bit more swinging room, and we've decided against cod fishing for the day. That'll have to wait for another day, so we're having a decadent brunch on board Florence with some banana pancakes and some of our freshly foraged berries. They're delicious, really sweet. I think the freshest blueberries I've ever had.
Whilst it's been a beautiful stop in this anchorage, the weather is changing. There's a storm down over Scotland at the moment, and that's the remnants of that are going to head up this way towards Norway. So we need to find somewhere to take a bit of shelter.
Florida back to the Greenwich Meridian. Northwest severe gale force 9 from Tuesday time 10 UTC until Wednesday time 11 UTC. That was all from Coastal Radio North.
Ready? There go. For extra updates in between these bi-weekly videos, and to find out what we're up to in real time, head over to Patreon and join the crew.
Continuing our voyage on Florence would not be possible without the support of our patrons. Thank you to all of you, and especially to our star patrons.